XPress, how to make press fit joints. Always cut the tube square using a rotary tube cutter whenever possible. When using plastic coated carbon steel tube, remove the coating using the S115 stripping tool. Deburr the tube end both internally and externally. Check the tube ends are free from damage and clean, wiping away any swarf to avoid damaging the O-ring on tube insertion. Mark the socket depth with a marker. Select the correct type and size of fitting. The fitting should be kept in its bag until point of use to protect the O-ring. Check the fitting is free from damage and the O-ring is seated correctly. Due to the leak before press feature, a slight triangulation of the fitting socket is intentional and should not be mistaken for damage. The leak before press feature on XPress Carbon is provided by the use of a special O-ring that has nodules to form a leak path prior to pressing the fitting. The O-ring integrity is critical, as it is this that forms the seal. This is why tube preparation is vital to ensure the O-ring is not compromised on insertion of the tube. Insert the tube into the fitting until it meets the tube stop and corresponds to the depth mark made earlier. Make the tool safe by isolating it from the power supply. Select the correct jaws for the joint being made, checking that they are free from damage. Attach to the press tool and reconnect the power supply when ready. Place the jaws over the bead at the mouth of the fitting, maintaining a 90-degree angle to ensure the integrity of the joint and to protect you from kickback, where there is a risk of the machine moving sideways. It is important to allow sufficient clearance around each fitting to allow the press fit jaws or sling to be attached without hindrance and to provide sufficient access for the press tool. With the tool fully supported and not hanging from the pipework and with your hands safely away from the jaws, start the pressing cycle. Release the jaws from the fitting and inspect the joints, ensuring the fitting is fully closed around the tube, there are no distortions, and the mouth of the fitting still corresponds to the depth mark. If all is in order, mark the joint as complete. Tube preparation and joint assembly for 42 to 108mm fittings is the same as for the smaller sizes. It is essential to use sling jaws as these provide a more equally distributed force than two-piece jaws, ensuring reliability. Select the correct sling jaw for the joint being made, checking it is free from damage and suitable for the material you are using, as jaws for copper and steel differ at 108mm. It is essential to lubricate the sling by applying S135 lubricant to the pressing profile groove between the main sling arms and the moving segments and along the pivot pins. Take care to wipe off any excess to prevent contaminating the O-ring. Mount the sling with the groove in the sling sitting over the bead at the mouth of the fitting, taking care not to trap your fingers in the sling. Make the tool safe by isolating it from the power supply. Select the correct adapter and attach it to the press tool, following the instructions for the press tool, and then reconnect the power supply when complete. Attach the adapter to the sling jaw, maintaining a 90-degree angle to protect you from kickback and to ensure the integrity of the joint. With the tool held firmly and not hanging from the pipework and your hands safely away from the jaws, start the pressing cycle. For 108mm fittings, the sling jaw is left in place and a second pressing operation is required. Swap the adapter on the press tool for the second press adapter and repeat the pressing operation. Disconnect the adapter and remove the sling jaw from the fitting. Inspect the joint, ensuring the fitting is fully closed around the tube, there are no distortions, and the mouth of the fitting still corresponds to the depth mark made earlier. If all is in order, mark the joint as complete. The advantages of the XPress system. XPress is a totally heat-free jointing solution. It reduces installation times, providing major cost savings. No need for hot works permits or additional costly insurance. Sizes from 15 to 108mm. Complete systems have an exceptionally clean bore with no flux residues. XPress covers a wide variety of applications in modern building services. System guarantees of 30 years for copper and stainless and 10 years for carbon. Excellent system performance from -24 to 110 degrees C at a maximum working pressure of 16 bar. For gas installations -20 to 70 degrees C at 5 bar and 1 bar within buildings. Designed for hydraulic system testing at up to 1.5 times working pressure to a maximum of 16 bar.